lesson 10. Thank goodness it's not as warm as it was last week, because watching the video back of myself there, it looked like I was melting into my artwork or my desk. So I'm so glad that it's much more pleasant and shall we say English weather, or English summer anyway. So welcome back to lesson 10. It's the last one in our series of 10 on landscapes. So we did a lot of stuff on mixed media and layering backgrounds and then painting over them, and then we looked at colour as well, and how to perhaps take the colours of other artists' work to help us understand how to gel the whole composition together using a selective amount of colours and things as well. So we've had a lot of fun there. And then last week, at the request of some of you, I brought out my gel plate, and I created a series of different textures and papers, which is what some of you will either be doing tonight or working with. So the idea is we create all these different textured backgrounds, creating these mono prints by drawing or printing into the gel plate, and then using those papers to create a collage of a chosen landscape. So I gave you some landscapes that had some houses and things, or farmhouses, and then these sweeping vistas or views that we could then use to collage those things together. Okay, so I'll just remind you of a few of those things. Tonight what I'll be doing is the landscape that I created last week using those collage things I'm going to paint back into, which is what I mentioned I would do last week. So we'll be doing a bit of that. Alrighty, so let's have a look at the wall. There we go. Okay, so the landscape just up here at the top is the one that I've been working on to create my collage, as I mentioned a minute ago. Let's just see if I can get a bit bigger. There you go. So I've got this lovely little farmhouse in the background there, and this lovely curving pathway, rutted pathway going around the house and into the distance, then a beautiful mist in the background. So I did a very, very loose sort of collage of that last week, which I'm going to refine by painting into. You don't have to work in that way. It's just something I've chosen to do. But we did look at some of these artists which potentially have used I think this is Jan Munro. She used I think she's possibly used a gel plate in here. Indeed, you can see some of the patterns look suspiciously like a gel plate, particularly this yellowy pattern down the bottom, because you can actually buy these things that have got a cutout template of things that you can put onto your gel plate in order to create a print. So I suspect that's happened there, and then there's been a little bit of over printing on top, which I haven't done, but it's certainly something you could try. There, look, you can see some of these patterns appearing on the mountains. The other thing to remember, of course, is that a lot of the colours in here as well get fainter for the most part as we go into the background, and there's much more larger marks in the foreground and brighter, stronger colours to give us that sense of distance. And then of course some of the features themselves get smaller, as you would expect in a nice landscape too. So a really nice picture, that one. Oh, somebody's just taken a picture of the screen. I can send you that picture if you like. And then there was this this chap here called Alfie Carpenter, who I picked because I really liked the way that he'd collaged outside of the box. So you can see there's some watercolory marks at the back there. But the idea here really was to sort of show you how you can use torn papers and marks and textures to collage those together to create a landscape as well. And you can see here that perhaps, and I don't know this for a fact, but it looks like he's worked into it to create some finer details as well, which is what I'm hoping to do this evening with mine as well. And then the other picture over here. I can't remember the name of the artist. Indeed, I don't think I mentioned the name of this artist, but this is much more of a raw collage from some textures that have been created, possibly with a gel plate, but I think more likely to be direct monoprints. So a monoprint is where you put paint onto a surface, you put paper over the paint while it's wet, and you pull off some textures, which is what we were talking about, because there's one student tonight who doesn't have a gel plate. So potentially, if you've got something that's non-porous, like a piece of plastic, or as we suggested, like a poly wallet with some cardboard inside of it, if you're really struggling, then you could still pull off some really nice textures with a roller as well. A little bit more difficult, but still can work to create some papers. And you remember, of course, that acrylic paint will dry really quickly as well, so just be aware of that when you're working away there, so that your materials and your poly wallet and your roller stays undamaged or clean. Of course, you can just use brushes if you want to as well. Alrighty, so over on the desk, here's some of my papers that I did. So if you remember, I used like I think it's a cake making device for icing that I used on the Gelli plate to create patterns like this. Some of them I did crossing over. This is literally a piece of wallpaper that I've transferred ink onto, so I could even just use a wallpaper as well. This is textured wallpaper. Sometimes the back of your print can have some nice bits on, so potentially, of course, you could take something like this off and use it in a landscape. Brush strokes as well, you can see I've already used some of those. This is a brayer or a roller on the back of the paper. Bubble wrap over here as well. So once you get printing, you'll find that you just kind of get into the rhythm of doing it and have a lot of fun. If you've already printed and you're ready to start collaging, then you've got all your papers ready to go. Brush strokes, that one was a pen that I used. Just literally pushed a pen onto the surface. Scraping a piece of cardboard to make a kind of 3D looking brush stroke or something. And this was the side of a paper cup rolled on the surface as well. Oh, and this one I did the other day. I think I did it with you guys, and that was a piece of sandpaper that you would put on a sander. So you can just literally sit down and pick up things that you find lying around and use them. And that was a triangular piece that I just literally printed on the surface of the Gelli plate when it was inked. And then you roll off your papers. All right, so we've got lots of potential here. This was some of the stuff we did before with being selective with the colours. And that was some backgrounds that we've done. So we've done loads, we've done absolutely loads this term. And you remember this one? So if you put some colour down first, then start painting over it, you'll get the colour from underneath coming through, so we create kind of a dreamy quality picture. Alright, and this is the one that I did last week. So I've already started to paint a little bit into this. Let's see if I can get in a bit closer. Although we don't want to be too close. There we go. Or maybe a bit more. Yep, I'm getting a bit more. So this was literally a piece of the paper from the back of a print, and then I've started to use a really fine brush to work into those details and create more of a painted piece. So I'm going to focus in on this area. You might find that you cover up a lot of your papers, but the little bits of it come through at the end. It depends how far you want to take it, really. I mean, mine's quite busy, so my first instinct here is to try to quieten down the picture and get areas that you can really focus in on, and then maybe, I don't know, add some more layers of colour, because essentially what I've got here is paper that has acrylic on it. So it's the same or very similar process to what we've done before, where we paint the surface and it's dry so you can paint over it, if you see what I mean. So should have. Okay, so from a really busy landscape to a, well, I don't know about atmospheric, but it certainly has colour, and a few people mentioned that they thought it had a really good sense of light as well. So that's really nice to hear. But certainly I have, by the end of this, I have the nice uneven edges of the artist's work that we can see up there. Alfred Carpenter, I think it was, or Alfie Carpenter. So this is literally a process of painting over the surface of the collage, and as I mentioned before, it's already an acrylic piece, so we have got acrylic going on top of acrylic. So in a sense, really, we've got a very busy landscape here. It looks quite nice as it is, but I'm going to, during this lesson, quieten down the surfaces of this this piece to soften it down, but to add more sense of light and shadow within the image. And as I mentioned before, it's experimental too, so we're just having a little go to see if we can what we can do with this, really. I used to do quite a lot of this kind of work before, whereas before I used all sorts of different materials like old maps and things like that, and then I would paint with acrylic directly on top with thin layers and washes of colour, in order to create super atmospheric landscapes and things. So during this process I layer the paint quite considerably, and then towards the end I start to add some small details, brush strokes, stipples and stuff, very much like what we've done in the previous lessons during this series. So you can see the layers of yellow paint, and I've mixed it with some white to make it a little bit more opaque rather than transparent, but we still have some of those lovely patterns coming through. Now I also decided at this point that I wanted it to feel a little bit softer and things, so atmospheric. So what I've done is added blue into the shadows as well, and I do that more as we progress in order to emphasize and to create more of a contemporary feel for the image too. You can see where I've worked into the picture and how it compares with the original there, the original photograph that is. And I noticed on the trees there were highlights of yellows and greens on the trees to give that sense of the sunlight hitting the side of the trees to give it more of that 3D form as well. It is nice. I mean, I do a lot of collage artwork and lino printing at the moment, but using paint is always a joy, especially when you start to layer those techniques on top of each other. So I noticed like a little hedgerow in the back there, which you'll notice I've kept paler than the wall in the foreground and the fences and stuff like that. We're doing a wash of whitish sort of yellowy green on top of this very busy field in the foreground. You'll notice how I hop around the image quite a lot. So we're looking at the whole image rather than just one part. Sometimes I might say to people, work on one area of your image so you can see how it's going to turn out. It makes it easier to work across the whole image when you've got like an idea for a colour palette, or you know where you're working out how you're going to join the different elements together using your colour and your mark making. It's certainly nice to, once you get to a stage where you've got colour on most of the picture, to start adding small highlights and emphasis on areas using little pops of colour in different places. Here I'm emphasising the horizon of the image, as you can see, with some white mixed with a bit of colour. And then as we progressed, I decided I was going to be a bit more inventive and add some different mark making in the foreground. This was a Gelli Plate from a Gelli Plate course that I did about 2 or 3 years ago at the Kerwin Study Centre, Print Study Centre. It was brilliant. I did 2 courses. I did one on litho printing or etching, and I did a Gelli Plate one. That was the Gelli Plate one there. So there you can see I've added a bit of blue to the side of the house. I'm starting to build up that middle area of the path as well. And you can see the layers going back over the top. So I first highlighted the path with a bit of white on top of my papers. You can see there's still evidence of the papers coming through, even though I've covered it quite a lot. And then I'm adding little details and things to create a bit more interest on the path, a bit of texture to draw your eye through, along with the perspective and of the winding path or road or whatever you want to call it, or trackway. So whereas there are specific colours in this landscape from the photograph, I'm being very inventive with what I do as far as details go, and obviously the patterns in the Gelli Plate. So we've very much transformed this landscape. There's lots more I would do to it, I think. But for this lesson, it's been a lot of fun just to explore approaches to landscapes, and I hope you've enjoyed the last 9 lessons as well. We've covered a lot, as we always do, because of course I see lots of different things that I want to share with you. Anyway, our next course starts in September, so if you fancy joining our online lessons, it would be lovely to see you. We start towards the end of September, around the 24th online, but we have other classes in the area that you might want to join too. So thank you very much and have a wonderful summer. Bye.